A lot of people could have a disparate opinion as to what brought us here. Some people would say it's GSEs and their leveraging issues. Other people would say it's the credit rating agencies and they had problems. Other people would say it was the regulators, whether it were the OTS or what have you. They simply missed things and what have you. A lot of people can point out different things. We have not come to a conclusion as to what the problem ultimately was that brought us here. Can you point to one example where it was standardized derivative products that was ultimately part of the cause that brought us here?
I think that the unregulated derivative dealers, the affiliates and Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, and for that matter, even that which was in the bank, allowed for a great deal extra leverage in the system. And one of the
that's the
and even the standardized product, I believe,
that's
is
the
part
dealers
of that.
and the people. That's the entities. How about the product themselves? What we're talking about here is regulating the product and putting constrictions around the product itself, as opposed, and it's a standardized product, as opposed to, because there's a whole host of other proposals out here as far as regulating the brokers and investment advisors. Can we point to where it was the product? It's the standardized product.
I'm of the firm belief that bringing standardized products onto central exchanges and onto central clearing will lower risk and enhance transparency. Tens of thousands of end users will benefit by that.
I appreciate we can lower risk, but can we give one example so I can go home and say, this was part of the problem that caused it, and here's a specific example.
I think that AIG is Exhibit 1, $180 billion of American taxpayer money for standardized and customized products. AIG was doing both.
AIG, would they be products that would therefore go through, can be considered a standardized products that would go through a clearinghouse?
Many of their products would. Some of them were so customized they couldn't, but all of them would be regulated for capital and margin. All of them would be regulated as a derivative deal.
Wasn't most of the problem with the AIG situation was with their credit default swaps, which were based upon the subprime problem and the mortgage problem? They would not be standardized.
It was also, there was no effective federal regulation for capital or margin. So in last September, Congress was put in a terrible position we should never put Congress in, to have to think about the TARP bill, and then the Federal Reserve and Treasury loaned, this $180 billion of the Fed specifically. And we want to avoid that in the future. And that's standardized product as well as customized product. We need capital and margin requirements to do that.
Well, I've never heard anyone say that the problems over at AIG was with their standardized products.
It was both. It was actually both. The customized products gets a lot more publicity, obviously, because they're so exotic. But it was also the standard. It's the amount of leverage that you can put in the system, how much debt you can put on a very small base of capital.
Okay, very, very quickly, I've heard a lot of people from the business community that says even with the non-standardized product, which would raise the capital requirements or the margin requirements effectively on, that this would basically make it impossible for them to go to use them and hedge their businesses. You only have about 30 seconds.
I think that it's a very good question, but they could absolutely, end users could use the products. We are saying there should be customized products. I think that by bringing transparency to the standard part, it was actually lower cost because they could see where the spreads are and they could price off the standard product.
Thank you.